Hello everyone, and welcome to Ellen Ruth's Soap. We're jumping right into the soap making today. I've got a busy day, but I wanted to bring you along as I made this soap. Let me tell you, normally my fragrance is what inspires me, and then I'll pick my colors and additives. Well, today it's the colors that inspired me. This blue and orange are what we're doing today, and I made a custom fragrance blend. It's a little sweet, it's a little tart, it's got some just buttery undernotes, and I'm going to call this Cobalt Sunrise. I don't know why this blue and orange just grabbed me, but these are the colors, these are the inspiration today. So here is my oils and butter. We're going to do a coconut milk soap using a coconut milk powder today with our dry additives, and I'm going to do some piping on top. I have my little, let's see, I always forget. Okay, Wilton 1M star tips, both of these, and we're going to do some dollops in the blue and the orange on top just to tie it all together because I love those colors so much. So all that being said, let's get to our dry additives. Here is my coconut milk powder. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons like I normally do, and it's a little clumpy, so I'm going to make sure to blend it really smooth and let it just fully absorb in these oils before we get on to our lye solution. So 2 tablespoons of coconut milk is going in here, and 2 tablespoons of oats and clay. So what I have here is just a little bit bigger recipe than my normal one, and I will save off some of the extra batter for the piping on top. I don't always make a special recipe for the piping. You can, and that's great, but you can also just make a little extra soap batter, let it thicken up to piping consistency, and that's what I'm doing today. So let's get this all blended in here. My custom fragrance is already in here because everything I used is a slow, to moderate mover. So hopefully this won't speed up on us. But let's get to blending this so we can get moving forward. Are back with our lye solution, and I realized I forgot to tell you the colors. I showed you the colors, but I didn't tell you. This is Gorgeous Blue Mica from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and this is Sunset Orange from Be Scented. So that's the name of the colors. Aren't those just gorgeous? If these are not somebody's school colors, they really should be. If these are your school colors, let me know what school, because wow, they're pretty together. All right, all that being said, I've got my handy dandy hanger tool here, which is just a flexible gear tie that I get on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. Super inexpensive, very easy to use, and it's soap friendly because it's coated in this rubberized sort of flexible rubber, I guess I'll call it, which does not react with the lye solution. So you are good to go using these in your soap. So, and you can make it fit any soap mold you have. All right, now my lye. I made this last night because I did all my prep work, hence the busy day today, and you're not seeing my face right now. But it has some lye lint because it sat overnight. So I'm going to run it through my strainer because I don't want any chunkage in my soap. You know the drill. All right, this has, I should tell you what's in here. It does have cane sugar, sodium lactate, and Tussa silk fibers. So it's got my usual cocktail in there that I love so much. You know, if you've been with me any amount of time, you know I love my additives. So got it all in there. Just as simple as that. Getting the chunks out, and we are good to go. I'm going to get this blended up to a nice emulsion, and then I will split off in my colors and do the hanger swirl, and then again we're going to let the rest of this set up for the frosting. And you can see it sort of turn beige a little bit. That is the lye reacting with the coconut milk. It does that with goat milk and buttermilk. Any sort of milk product, you'll get a little beiging, and it will bounce back to a nice ivory color because the fragrances I'm using are not discoloring fragrances, so I'm hoping they'll bounce back. are back. It's the next day. It's been about 24 hours since we got this in the mold, and I am so happy with the colors. That orange was looking very red when I poured it, but then it mutes out to a nice, like, dark orange like this, which is what I wanted. The blue is actually casting quite a bit of a green tint. I don't know if it's coming through on camera. It's still dominantly blue, but it's a little greener than I had anticipated. So let's see how it looks on the inside and how those swirls came out. Let's get in here. Back with the lovely Olga, and I want to talk about my multi-bar cutter for just a minute. I got this from Goodspeed Soap Cutters, and he is no longer in business. The whole Ukraine-Russia war, he was in Russia and his shop got shut down, and so I do not know how to get a hold of him anymore, and I'm sorry for that. There are a couple of places that have really good heavy-duty metal multi-bar soap cutters. Essential Depot has one. There's a place called The Soap Cutter that I've seen other really good soapers using. I'll try to find a few options for you and leave it down in the link below. My wires are set at 1 1/4 inch. That's the width of my bar. And a lot of them are 1-inch bars. That's a great size bar. I like a little beefier bar, so that's what I had him do my wires at. But I was really sad to see him go out of business. And so that's a word on my cutter. I get asked a lot, where did you get your cutter? Well, you can't get them anymore, at least not right now. Maybe there's some used ones on eBay. I haven't even poked around. But I will try to find a couple comparable versions and leave links for them. For those of you that are looking for a really heavy-duty wire cutter, it's a bit of an investment, but if you are making a lot of soap, it is very time-saving, and it's a good piece of equipment to have once you have an established soap business. So not for the beginner. I used my single bar cutter for, gosh, over a decade, and it was great. But so this was a nice upgrade for me. So all that being said, let's get into our first loaf. I'm very anxious to see how these swirls came out, and it is definitely looking blue on the inside here. I guess the top just has a little bit of a cast. Maybe it's my lighting. Definitely blue on the inside. I'm happy about that. So let us get in here and see how this coconut milk soap looks on the inside. Oh, I love cutting day, swirls, all of that. Makes me happy. Oh my word. And that's what I was hoping for. These colors swirled. Oh, love it. Making me happy. All right, and I do believe we will probably have some soapy patterns at the end. So I have talked about this in previous videos, and I'll just mention it again since I used a coconut milk powder to make this and not a liquid coconut milk. I have done both here on the channel. Love them both. I love coconut milk soap. It is fabulous. So, and I find after the cure and after it's all said and done, the powder version versus the canned, coconut milk version, not a big difference in the lather. I think they are both just wonderful and creamy. Maybe the canned version, coconut cream or coconut milk in the can, might be a little more of a milky feel in the lather, but it's really close. So if you have never soaped with milks before, I think powdered milks are a great way to get yourself into soap, milk soap making. You can get goat milk powder, and even just regular evaporated milk would do great in a soap. I also like buttermilk powder. That's another one that I've been really enjoying. All right, let's get on to the next loaf. And this is not to take away from fresh milks. When we had all of our dairy animals, gosh, there was a time where we were milking a dairy cow, which is a lot of milk, and we had 2 or 3 goats in milk at the same time. We were literally swimming in fresh, raw milk, which I love. If you have a supply of good, wonderful, fresh goat milk or, camel milk, whatever you got, I would say use that because it's such a great ingredient. And personally, I am a raw milk fan. I know some people aren't, and in some states it's even illegal, and I have opinions about that. I love raw milk. So if I have access to some, I will use it in my soap and I will drink it. I think it's fabulous. That's pretty much all I'm going to say on that. I do have a girlfriend that has a herd of goats, and I may continue to get goat milk from her since I no longer have dairy animals. So I've been looking into the powdered milks and trying them out and seeing how I like them in the lather, and I'm so pleased that there's an alternative if you don't have access to fresh milks like that the powders work really well also. So there's my word on that. And the whole raw milk thing, don't get me started. Again, I do have opinions on that. I think farm fresh is the best, but some people would disagree, and that's your prerogative. Anyway, for soap making though, it's all good. This is gonna lather like a dream, I'm sure of it. All right, before we get into our last loaf, I wanted to show you my little mooncake press again that I have been making with my fresh shavings. I did a double batch of this soap, so I have my large mooncake press. And let me know if you enjoy watching me make these or if I should just skip it in the future. But I have my bucket off to the side that I'll be collecting my shavings in to make that little soap flower. I just love creative ways to use the soap scraps. Donating them is fabulous. Recycling them, rebatching, or making these little soap flowers. Love to get creative, and I don't like to waste. When you put this much time and effort into making something wonderful, I don't think you should waste a bit of it. Oh golly, pretty swirls. All right, so again, I really want to know if these are your school colors. Let me know where that is because y'all have good taste. That's what I can say. This is such a pretty combo. And I'm not a big sports person, so I certainly wouldn't know who has those colors. And if somebody doesn't, use them. They're good ones. So pretty. Well, like I normally do, I'm going to let these sit for a few hours before I come in and do the beveling and the stamping on these. And then I will make my little soap shaving flower at the end. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope if you're a soap maker, you give milk soaps a try, whether powdered or fresh. They're fabulous. Thanks for being with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.